welcome back to Campbell's Music Rig Review episode. We're going to say episode 51 as far as right now. But we just got done talking to Rick. Now we're going to be talking to Mike from the band Seppuku.
Yeah.
Seppuku. Michael Caudell, right?
Yeah.
Damn, I'm good tonight.
That's hard. A lot of people don't get that right.
So, you know, as you can see, he's holding this bass, and bass players are the most important people in the band. And you can't have a band without bass players, in my opinion.
You can, but they suck.
They do. This is the whole reason we started this rig review, is because I wanted to get every bass player within 2-hour radius in here and do the rig review. So
good. I'm just inside that radius. It takes me an hour and a half to get here.
Okay. Oh yeah, he's from Marion, so he drove a long ways to get here. And appreciate you hanging out and doing this thing with us.
Awesome. We appreciate you guys giving us an opportunity to come here and do this hangout. I've been watching these since, I think I picked up watching these around episode 10 or something. But I went back and watched pretty much all of them.
Yeah. I feel like we're getting better each time. I don't know, but I mean, you know, I don't feel like Matthew Sykes got a fair deal, so he was the very first culprit, and we will probably have to redo his at one point. But yeah, we've had a lot of bass players, had a lot of drummers, and of course guitar players and keyboard players, but yeah, bass is where it's at. And we'll just keep talking about how good bass is.
Yeah.
This is a pretty impressive rig though you got here, and wherever you want to start and talk about it. And
well, this rig is many years in the making. I've been playing bass for like 22 years now. Started off with a little Rogue 4-string that I bought out of musician's friend.
Yeah.
Only because I wanted to be a drummer, but my dad wouldn't buy me a drum set when I was a kid. Couldn't turn the drums down, but he could turn the bass down.
Yeah.
But my brother-in-law played guitar, and my friends played guitar, and I didn't want to play guitar.
Right.
So that's why I was like, well, I'll try bass then.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I started hearing all the jokes. You know, the bass player in a band is usually just the worst guitar player and the guy that can't really play guitar. So it's like, here, you play bass instead. But no, for probably about 12 years or so, I played harky stuff.
Okay.
My last rig I had before this one, I had the Harky LH1000 head with 2 of the 410 high drive cabs.
Oh yeah.
Now I do miss those cabs portability compared to this.
Yeah.
But I've always wanted one of the Ampeg fridges.
Yeah.
I love this thing. I mean, it's built like a tank.
There's a reason this thing's been around as long as it has. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The first thing that I upgraded was I got the Ampeg SVT4 Pro head. And I played it through the Harky cabs for a while.
Oh, gotcha.
I like the Harky stuff because I like those aluminum cones.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a bit of a neat freak when it comes to my gear. Mm-hmm. So I want everything to match. So that's why I was like, well, I got to buy the cab to go with the Ampeg. So I got to go buy the Ampeg cab. And I'm not going to buy an Ampeg if I don't buy the big 810 behemoth here. And
yeah, I love this freaking rack setup. It looks great.
I always wanted to set my stuff up in a rack.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this thing, it goes great with, it sits perfect on top, but that amp is heavy.
Yeah.
The guys kind of hate helping me lug this thing around. That's why they have the huge casters on it. Everything's in here, so we can just set it off the truck, roll it in where we got to go. Unlike Rick stuff, you got
to carry it
my
around.
Guitar player who does not believe in casters on a cabinet.
On a cabinet. We know a guy across the street, Travis Kmeyer, he'll swear you shouldn't have casters on your cabinet.
You don't put casters on an orange cabinet.
Yeah.
That's the design.
Yeah. That's the fun. I guess you maybe lose some bottom end that way or something.
That's okay. We decided to move it around the practice space with a broken office chair. There's a picture of that on Facebook. But no, I built this rig. I went with everything I could get rack mountable. The thing that took me the hardest to find was the rack mount tuner. I could never find anywhere that I could buy one, but I lucked up and probably paid more money than I should have for it. So I won't say how much I paid for it. But But I've always gone wireless. So
Yeah.
recently upgraded to the Sennheiser wireless, and I love it.
Yeah, we got people come here every day about going wireless and everything, and they'll try to cheap out on it sometimes. And I always say, don't spend $50 on Amazon or $100 on Amazon because you're going to be highly disappointed.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and get the Sennheiser, the Shure. They've been doing it the longest.
My first wireless unit I had was, I can't even remember the brand. I think it was Samson.
Yeah.
That thing was very cheap, and it probably lasted me a couple months before it decided to go out. And then I had an AKG wireless. A band I was in, the bass player had the same brand. Mine was a bit a cheaper model, so I couldn't switch anything on it. I couldn't change any of the frequencies. He could change the frequencies on his. We set up to play a show one time, and it sounded horrible. I was hearing his bass come. I was playing guitar in that band. He was hearing his bass coming through my amp. I was hearing my guitar coming through his. The signals were crossing. So
oh yeah, I've had that happen on those little Boss plug-in deals too, with the 3 people on stage, and they, whatever you want to think about them, but they, more than one of those, you're going to get some crosstalk. So yeah, don't cheap out on your wireless, folks. That's what we're trying to explain to.
No, so I went with the Sennheiser. And then, of course, everything runs through my Furman power conditioner. And then I got a rack that was big enough so I could put 2 drawers on here, so I have everything we need. So, like, our microphones, I keep them stored in here.
Yeah.
Extra cables, some strings and stuff.
So they shouldn't complain about helping you carry this because it's got all their stuff in it.
Exactly. But no.
That's a great looking setup. And of the rack Ampegs that I've seen, I think the SVT4 Pro is probably my favorite of all of the ones that I've played through. But I've played through like the 2 and maybe the 2 and the 3. But
this was the very first Ampeg that I've ever played, I ever owned. And I always, like I said, I always wanted an Ampeg, just never could afford one, a good one anyway. But when the time was right and I was able to get that one, I won't go back to anything else. If I ever went back to anything else, I might get another Harkey rig just so I'd have it to play it.
Yeah.
But for my main rig, I'm going to stick with the Ampeg. I've only ever had to do one modification to it. I had to change the preamp tubes in it. I started getting this weird hiss coming from my cabinet, and it was driving me nuts. And I didn't know what it was, and so I swapped out the preamp tubes, and
been all good since.
Everything's good. So
how many watts is that pushing?
1,000.
1,000 watts. Yeah, it's 18 calf, so he's pushing some air, and
of course I play with the loudest guitar player in the Tri-Cities.
According to Tom Nell, the loudest guitar player in the Tri-Cities.
So and like he said in his episode, our tones are so similar.
Yeah.
I had to have something that would kind of help me get
yeah.
over it, because I don't know, ever since I started playing with guitar players from the Tri-Cities, these guys like their tube amps, and it's like, okay, you want to go tube amp, I'm gonna find a way to be louder.
Yeah. Yeah. Heck yeah. So yeah, that setup looks great. Coming out this wireless, this beautiful Stingray, I guess. It's the Darkray, isn't it?
Yeah, this is an oddity for me. I've always played basses that were longer scale, so this is actually the shorter. I mean, it's a 34-inch scale bass, but it feels more compact than anything I used to play. It only has 22 frets, where I used to be a stickler. It had to have 24 frets. It had to be super long, and
yeah.
Then I saw the video on YouTube when they first announced these. And I was like, I want that. I really want that. And then I saw how much it was. And it's like, well, hey, I got a bonus check at work, so I'm going to spend money and I'm going to buy it. And they only did a limited run of this one in the white. So it's actually, you can see here on the back plate, it's number 60 of 100.
Yeah, I've not seen the white before.
So I've tried to find anybody else that may have had one. The only one that I've found is the bass player from Motionless in White.
Okay.
He has one.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it on camera. It's a white, but it's got this sparkle in it that just looks great.
Yeah, I named this one a Ghost Sparkle because it's white and sparkles.
Yeah,
I love it. I want to get the other color option in this, but it's almost impossible to find. Every online retailer I found, every time I try to find one, it's the date that they're available keeps getting pushed back.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's way up into the end of April now. So
yeah. Yeah, and so does this have the Darkglass preamp on board?
Yeah, it is. With the Darkray, they teamed up with Darkglass, and it has a Darkglass Alpha and Omega. So I have the distortion and the fuzz.
Okay.
So really, we've
kind of eliminates the need for pedals, then, right?
Yeah, I have one. There's one thing hidden in this, and it's kind of my little secret weapon. I have an MXR bass DI with distortion that I have run through the effects loop of this. I have it kind of in the back.
Okay.
I don't use the distortion on the pedal. I just use it for a little bit of boost with my EQ.
Yeah.
Because as a bass player, I love mids. My mids, you can tell by here, my mids
they're
are cranked
pushed,
to 10. Honestly, I feel with the Ampeg, the mids are where it's at. I mean, because there's a frequency controller here, 5 different mid frequencies that I can go for.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that's a good assessment. Like Ampeg with the mids, I definitely feel that.
So I mean, I know some people, they like to push the low end as hard as they can, and then cut all the high end out of it. I mean, if you want that warm tone, go for it. But I like something that punches a little bit.
And like I said, working with Rick having that low frequency too, so it kind of helps it cut through something.
Rick likes his Les Paul style guitars. I love Les Pauls. That's what I play when I play guitar. They're chunkier. He's got a nice thick sound with that orange cabinet that he's got.
Yeah.
So it all works really well. I mean, sometimes it gets to where they kind of blend together too well, and you kind of can't differentiate.
Yeah.
But that's also where the Darkglass stuff in this bass comes in.
Yeah. Yeah, we sell Darkglass amps here, and we've had the microtubes, Alpha Omega. They're great. Probably some of the best bass distortion stuff that I've heard, because it doesn't lose that that big bottom or whatever that some of the other pedals do for sure. But yeah, 5-string Darkray, that's a beautiful guitar. Man, if you just want to.
Yeah, and I go with the 5-string, and there's a reason I go with 5 strings. I bought my first 5-string from a pawn shop, and when I got used to playing it, I couldn't play a 4-string anymore.
Yeah.
So even though I don't use the 5th string that much, I use it every now and then. If it's not, it's almost like a crutch. If it's not there, I can't play it.
Yeah.
It's almost like if I'm trying to play a 4-string and I'm trying to ride something on the E string, I start playing on the A because I'm like, I've got to get over that other string. But
yeah. I had a Stingray 5 kind of similar setup, all black, but I would find I play the fingers a lot, and I use that 5th string as a thumb rest a lot of times. Yeah, just resting my thumb on.
I kind of do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like I said, I use it sometimes, but for the most part, it's just there for. Kind of makes the neck a little bit thicker for me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, let's hear what this thing sounds like.
So it's got a great clean tone. Like I said, I love the Ampeg tone.
Heck yeah. You can definitely feel the mids. I mean,
but then we have some, like some of our songs, I'll kick it up into the I mainly use the Alpha. I don't use the Omega that much.
Yeah.
Pick it up in that distortion and then Then the Omega, it's just got a nice.
Yeah, that sounds great. I think I could get rid of a whole pedal board. Just put one of them Darkglass preamps in my bass.
Yeah, I've never had a lot of pedals.
Yeah,
I did. I had a Boss. Was it a GT 100?
mm-hmm.
The bass.
The bass one.
The bass one. And the only thing I really used it for, it had a wah, and for an old band, a band I was in before this one, Soul Collision, with another one of Punch and Judy's old members, Mike Burnett.
Yeah,
Love Mike. He's actually, through him is where I met Hal and Rick.
okay.
So I mean, I'm not from this area, so I'm not as, I don't know as many people as they do.
Yeah.
So my connections are smaller than theirs. It's like this, they'll talk about all these different guys. I'm like, guys, I don't know who you're talking about.
I'll tell you, growing up, Punch and Judy was the biggest thing around. They were the biggest band around.
Yeah,
they were awesome.
I missed all that, but
yeah.
It was they schooled me on it pretty quick. And
no, it's great, like, you know, to see the people from that era still playing and influencing other people too. You know, me and Vapor talk about it all the time about these. Some of this new generation, they don't even go to shows. They don't know anything about what's going on in the scene or anything. And back, you know, us growing up, it's like that's all there was. You go to shows, and you know that makes you just want to play more music and meet people and all that cool stuff. But you know, it's different now for sure.
Yeah, I love to play live, so I kind of hate that I missed that.
Yeah,
I missed that whole thing. I mean,
yeah. No, that was awesome. Omega Tribe.
Yeah, I mean, all this. Rick, sorry, Rick, but he's quite a bit older than I am. So he was playing shows, and I was still in school. So
yeah, him and Vapor are pretty old.
It's okay. I love him anyway. I mean, I'm going to school to be a nurse, so I guess I can take care of him if we ever go out on tour.
There you go. I see what's going on now. Oh, yeah, we got the whole band here tonight, so we'll get a photo. Anybody else want to say anything in the band, or y'all good? But we'll get a photo of everybody tonight, and like I said, y'all check out their, you know, y'all's EP or whatever you got online. We'll throw up your Facebook pages and all that thing. And anything else about your rig you want to talk about, or you got it covered pretty good?
Like I said, I think I covered it pretty good. I like to keep my rig simple.
Yeah.
Because it's, especially with putting everything in the rack. Like I've been trying to do that for years because I got tired of carrying all different bags around and everything. Yeah. Just throw the lids on it and go. Yeah. I've got 2 cables to hook up. Hook the speaker cable to the cab and hook the power conditioner up to an outlet, and I'm done.
Yep.
Whereas I'm not sitting here fighting cables and everything.
You know what you need? You need a good reverb pedal. I think every bass player needs a good old like Strymon holier than thou reverb pedal, and just create all kinds of ambience, because Vapor loves bass with reverb. But I'm just kidding. That's one thing he gives me hell about all the time.
No, I've always kept one thing with my tone that I've always found that I like is I like a simple tone. I don't like too much going on. I mean, it's even with the distortion in this, it was kind of a step in a different direction for me, because I usually don't like very many effects. That's part of the reason why I got rid of the Boss pedal, because it had so many different effects. It was cool to play around with, but when it came down to it, when I wanted to play, you
didn't really use it live.
I didn't really use anything, because it was.
I found myself the same way. I've built 2 or 3 different pedal boards and end up just using my tuner and my preamp, and you know that's about it. And I was like, bass players just, you know, they need to do their job.
All I have to do is get in sync with the drummer. That's it.
Yeah.
Which I'll give my drummer Noah there some props. He's probably the first drummer. Well, not maybe the second drummer that I've ever played with that I could actually play with the drummer.
Yeah.
I've played with some drummers that either maybe just getting started or I just didn't click with enough.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I mainly followed the guitar players for a long time.
Yeah.
Because like I said, my brother-in-law played guitar, so that's how I learned how to play bass, was by playing with guitar players. And
yeah. Now, I think that's important for your rhythm section, be that tight, get together. And that's why I love playing with Scott, because, I mean, he's a freaking time clock, It's just it's important for that rhythm section to hold that bottom end down and the rhythm for sure. But, yeah.
that's also why good drummers seem to be hard to find.
Good drummers and bass players are hard to find.
Like I said, you got Scott Thomas, the drummer of 1,000 bands.
Yeah.
That's what I've come to call him, even though I don't know him that well. I've played with him once.
Well, we've told him he's a member of Dime Store. He refuses to agree to that, but we told him he is anyhow. But Scott hates to be like talked about because when he's not here, he can't defend himself. And but I love doing it. But yeah, y'all go check out Seppuku. Yeah, and like Facebook, EP, download the music, go check them out live. I mean, you can hear what they sound like online, but until you see the band live, you don't really know what it sounds like. You know what I mean? It feels different. And I haven't seen you live, but I've been to plenty of shows, so it's way different. So
yeah,
that's more important.
We're only just getting started, so hopefully we got many more to come. I'm hoping that this year we can really get out there. We're starting to try to branch out, network out with some of the bands that we've connected with, and hopefully trying to get down towards the Knoxville area. And
for sure, yeah, they got a pretty good metal scene, and then that's the whole purpose of this Campbell's Rig review thing that we do, is just promote local music, local musicians. I mean, that's all we got. We promote them; they're going to continue to come shop with us, and we, like I said, appreciate y'all driving all the way from Marion and all over to come join us and doing this thing. And
we really appreciate you guys having us.
No problem. And we'll just fade out with some seppuku tunes, I guess. Right, baby? Thank you, Bill. That's it. Is that good enough?
And then I got back to where I was. Thought I had everything